What's up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Live. Welcome back. Antoine's in the house. Welcome to the stream. How's everything going? Fill me in. What's going on? Penny's here too. Yay! What's up, everybody? I'm so happy to see you all. I missed you all last week. We had a holiday here in Canada, and I just thought it would be good to take it. I know some people in the States had it as well. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't taking away from much needed breaks that everybody needs. Things are good, thank you, Antoine. It was we had Monday at work and everything, but you know, things got done. Progress was made. I figured out like a macro at my work that has been challenging me, and I figured it out. I'm so proud of myself. It was amazing. Very productive day. Okay. So last time we were together, we were working on a coloring page, and it wasn't this one. It was this one. And I got to work on it a little bit further. Get some hierarchy lines. Our cat still looks a little stunned, but we're going to work through it. And our frog. So there's like a little bit of work that might have to happen here, but I'm pretty stoked with how this came out actually. And I'm actually going to put it through the vector into Illustrator on the desktop, and I'm going to put like a fancy border on it and have things that are all like, just so it can be a little bit more even than if I was drawing it in Fresco. So we will do that. I'm not sure if I'll do that on a stream or not, because I really have to get these done for an event at work. So I'll show you the final result when we get there. And then today we're working on this other coloring page. Arby's in the chat. Welcome to the stream. I love it. Everybody's here. I love it. Okay. So this one is a fancy Halloween tea party. I feel like I'm missing something. Where are my sketches? I kind of am missing something. Okay. So this kind of came out in a few different ways. So as some of you are aware, I recently became an Adobe community expert. And so I've been kind of trying to get myself familiar with the space and kind of what's going on and the challenges and the journeys and the activities and all that kind of stuff. So I'm slowly kind of trying to catch up there and get myself familiar with what's going on. But they do have fun, for those of you who aren't part of that group, they do have fun little challenges every now and again. For different things, either like on Firefly or through Photoshop or an Illustrator challenge or something. Alessandra's here, yay! I'm so glad you're all here. So they had a challenge a few weeks ago that was like a Firefly challenge. And so it was like kind of do like a party of some kind. And so I was playing around and I was getting in the Halloween groove because of all the stuff Penny's been doing and getting into my stuff ready for my markets and things. And so I did the challenge, the Firefly challenge, and it was like this Halloween tea party. And I was like, you know what? That is super cool. I love that idea. That's going to be one of the coloring pages I have to do for my work event. So that's where this came from. So I can show you, I don't know where these are, but some of these are some of the Firefly outputs that I had. A little spooky, but fun. And I think this one or this one of these was the ones I posted. Look how super cute. This one. Look how super adorable they are. Oh my goodness gracious. And then this one, I can't remember which one I posted. It was one of these cute cartoon ones. Like, how cute is that? So I definitely thought, okay, well, I'm going to use these things that I pulled and put together a fun little Halloween in the grass tea party, which is what this is. So what we're going to do, like, I got most of my line work done. There's a couple things I've noticed right now that I'm missing. But we're going to put them in and we're going to get some of the hierarchy lines and kind of get this finalized because again, I'm doing this for a work event, which I'll explain in a second because I'm missing a question here. So RB is actually asking what actually is an Adobe Community Expert. So I'm going to ask anybody in the chat who is one or is a part of this community to dive in with anything that they use it for, because there's a lot of things that can happen here. So I'm labeled as a community expert. So there's different challenges and things that you can kind of go through, and it's a way for Adobe to get users to start to use the software, so you can participate in beta testing. You can provide feedback on software if you'd like to kind of have ideas or any problems or glitches that you're finding in the software. If they have something coming up new, you can do a beta test on it. They have things that are like Tech Tuesdays, which are kind of what I'm finding to be like, here's some cool things that I do using. I think the next one for tomorrow is in, oh shoot, the 3D one. Shoot. Like last week was like an Adobe PDF situation, and so they kind of showed, here's how we're using our software. And then you can participate in forums and things, and so every like activity that you participate in, even things like this live stream, you get to like points and things. And so you get points and stuff like that, and then you build up the points to redeem for rewards or to gift to other people, all different kinds of things. So it's Substance 3D. Thank you so much, Penny. I was like, it starts with an S. So yes, it's kind of like a cool way to kind of get insight as to what new is coming up, different events that are going on, and different changes in the software and things. And it's a good way for them to kind of get users to give feedback and kind of promote the work. So, and in return, you get these points and all that other kind of fun stuff. So it's so far very cool. I still feel like I'm very new to it, but I'm going to figure it all out soon. Okay, so I did notice that I am missing a particular line, and I don't think I want 5 yet. I want 3 still. There's a little bit of a white space here that I want to take care of. And it turns out in my sketch I had some of the grasses so that we don't have to worry about the details of the bunny's little dress there. Now we're in fresco still on this guy. Oops, just trim that up there. There we go. Perfect. So you'll see that I did pretty much all of the line art here on a single layer. Risky business, but I did it all on a single layer because it was easier for trimming and cleaning it up, and because I knew there's going to be a lot of details in this one that when I went through, I was going to find lots of like overlapping lines, and I just didn't want to make it messy. I really want this to be like a really strong illustration that I can use for the October months. So everything's on a single layer, but as I came up with different characters and different elements that I thought were really interesting, I either put them on their own layer and then drew them out and then merged and then duplicated and merged them in. So one particular character that I really liked was this little lovely lady here. She's got all this stuff, like I think there's like sticker potential here, and there's some kind of fun stuff. Like I think she's got lots of energy, so I think that there's really cool. So I, rather than going in later and cutting all the pieces out, I made sure that she had her own layer, and I saved it down here underneath my background so I don't accidentally erase her or alter her at all. Same with this one here. I thought this was pretty fun. So, and the little pumpkins and things like that. Bookmark potential. Penny, I like where your head's at. Very cool. Dan's in the chat. Welcome to the stream. So, so even though everything here in the main illustration is on one layer, I still kind of kept that kind of separate elements mentality while I was building it. And then when I felt like I was done with this little critter here on the chair, or the little girl with her dress, like I saved like the pumpkin you can see here in the bottom. I liked the little pumpkins if I wanted an element like on its own layer, so I can copy and paste it around rather than drawing it over and over and over again. So I wanted to save those to have it for later, but then have our main illustration here ready for so that like it just kept all those lines really clean and interactive and all that kind of stuff. So let's hit save here. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I'm thrilled with how this came out. This is super great. This is a lot more detail in a coloring page than I'm used to putting in. And this has kind of been my goal. I wanted to kind of push to have all these kind of details and stuff. And with the face cards, the collaboration that we were working on, I did a lot of that as well. So I really wanted to put a lot of detail in this. Like, this took me a few days to get this just right. So now, not that it's muddy, but I want to get some of those hierarchy lines in so that we can kind of differentiate some of our little characters and some of the little elements on the table, pull it up from the grass in the background and things like that. So we're going to do some of the lines that you're used to seeing me do. I added another layer there. I'm not gonna make a mess by putting hierarchy on the same layer there. That's too messy for me. But we're gonna increase to a 5-point. I did all of this at a 3-point vector. So we're gonna increase this to a 5-point, just to give us a little bit of extra room. So I am creating this it's becoming my standard coloring page size of an 11 by 14. I'm not certain I'm going to be coloring them, like printing them at that size, probably an 8.5 by 11. This particular illustration and the one from my last stream, they are going to be used at a work event. So I am part of an employee resource group at work, and we try and put on some networking events and different learning and training and all that other kind of stuff. But then sometimes we like to put on different just kind of socialization, kind of more low-key type events. And that's what this one's for. I'm going to be running just like a lunchtime coloring day. So I'm going to bring this page, the other haunted house page, and then some of my bookmarks. And we're going to be getting people are just going to come on their lunch break. I'm going to have crayons and markers and stuff, and people are just going to come in and... Sorry, I didn't know what that line was for a sec. And just kind of have a fun lunch break with us together. So I was just going to bring my coloring books and my bookmarks, but I thought it would be fun to kind of explore some of these more detailed coloring pages and have them ready for the event. And then if I have some extras, bring them to the markets and have people interact with the table that way. So that's what this is for mainly. I also talked to my sister, who is a teacher, and she said that like coloring pages would be huge for her classes. And I've had a few teachers come by my booth at the markets. So what I'm thinking of doing is kind of selling bundles, tiny bundles, like of 3 or 4 coloring pages that they can download and just reuse in their classrooms. So I'm going to get some feedback from my sister closer to the new year as to what she'd like to see in her classroom and start building that, and these being kind of like my base. So we're not done with the coloring pages just yet. Never. So yeah, so I'm excited to see how this goes. And again, like I've done this quite a bit, but working at this bigger size lets me get a lot of these tinier details in, and we'll see how they print on an 8.5 by 11, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Just make for fun coloring, I think. I have been putting an open coloring book on my table at the markets, welcoming anybody who wants to color. And that's been a huge pull to the table. So these pages can maybe help me with that when I have smaller booths in the fall. So yeah, all kinds of fun things. Getting ready for Halloween markets. I have 3 coming up, and then I have only 1 Christmas one so far. I'm waiting to hear on a couple more. I'm starting to panic. I've got lots to do. So that's why I want to get these pages wrapped up nice and neat in a bow so I can finish up some of my Christmas content, and I'm feeling very behind on the tarot cards, so gotta get back on track. So what is everybody working on? What have we been up to? Alessandra, you were Artist of the Day recently. Super cool. Penny, you had a conference of some kind. Everybody's been all over the place. Fill me in. What do we got going on? Weren't you Artist of the Day or something at a farmer's market or something recently? Didn't you post something on Instagram about that? Maybe I'm getting the terms wrong. Alessandra forgot she was Artist of the Day. I would tell everybody I was Artist of the Day. Actually, I tell everybody that every day anyway. Self-proclaimed Artist of the Day. Yeah, I was feeling bad about missing some streams lately, but it's been ever so busy. I think a lot of people have just been not streaming as much either because it's been so crazy. I find the start to the fall is really busy all the time. Memory issues from the Doodle spam transferred to me right now. Oh no. Missed a whole week because of work. I'm feeling like that's this week. Like I originally had some time booked off this week, but there's a huge work event coming up and we have prep meetings all throughout the day I was supposed to be off, and I was counting to 10, trying not to get frustrated with that because, you know, they do pay the bills. So I was just trying to find a new balance and a new scenario there. It's all good. Like I'm going to be off in coming weeks, but I don't mind balancing for work, obviously. Like I said, they pay the bills and it's my job and you have to be part of the work, but when it starts to when the studio starts to suffer, I'm really trying hard not to let that happen. So I'm just watching it, and it's only going to be like a week or two, so I'm sure I won't fall too far off track. The prep before and then the actual event were taking up a lot of time. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I feel like the prep almost takes up more time than anything else. It's a lot. But I hope it went well, at very least. And that there were learning opportunities. Because and that's the thing too. It's not like, oh, work is getting in the way of the studio for me. Like the event that we're prepping for is really important, and a lot of my questions that I have at work will hopefully be answered at this event, so it's not all that bad. I just kind of I just want to be drawing all the time, really. So that's kind of where that frustration comes from, but that's okay. And the best part about coloring pages is they're all black and white. So you don't have to worry so much about the colors and everything. but you get more detail and stuff into them this way. Same. Yeah, I hear it. I just want to be creating things all the time. But then when I get home, I'm like, okay, I'm going to create when I get home. I'm so tired. But I'm doing better about making time to be sure I'm drawing when I get home or after the chores are done or something. Don't want to get rusty. So we have these coloring pages coming up, and this year I have a new coloring book coming out for the holidays. One is the face cards. All of you lovely people who provided details. It's been sent off to Dan, and he's going to put the book together for us, and we're going to have it ready in time for the holidays. That's the plan. And then I have one for myself, which is going to be more gnome focused because people really like the gnomes at the markets. So I'm going to be doing a smaller kind of like 8x5 coloring book. And it's going to have gnome coloring pages in it. Some gnomes that have already existed, and then some brand new ones. Oh, thank you, Penny. She said the gnomes are so cute. Your gnome ideas seem endless. Well, it's funny because at every market I get like 2 or 3 more suggestions as to what should be happening. But yeah, then like the ideas just kind of keep rolling and you keep getting more and more and more ideas. So I'm glad I have not missed the gnome fad train. People are always going to love gnomes, which is amazing. But they actually like really make me laugh. Like they're pretty, like I'm not usually like a gnome person. I think I like the ones that I've been drawing because they don't have eyes. I find like the gnomes with like the crinkly eyes, it freaks me out. But I have a couple really funny ones that I'm excited to get drawing on. But I'm glad people are still liking them. That's good. So it's going to be a gnome coloring book. I'm very excited. I just kind of was starting to look at my printing schedule this week and panicked a little tiny bit, but I feel like I'm under control. I just have to talk to the printer and make sure things are A-okay. Yeah, with the gnomes, I just drew one in a studio once, and everybody then had an idea for one they wanted for themselves. So I've got lots. I'm not going to run out of ideas. I'll be shocked if I ran out of ideas. They're still so popular. And then I'm making some slow tarot progress. I actually had a coworker or special order a print, and so I'm working on getting that done. And then I have a few more to get done. Once I'm done like market things, I'm gonna get really, my plan is to get really caught up like November, December, just to be really focused and have that bigger tarot cushion. Right now I'm only a few cards ahead. It's stressing me out. There's another market on October 1st, so you gotta make art. Get cracking, woman. That's good. That's amazing. That's so soon. My next one isn't until the 10th of October. I have one on the 10th and one on the 11th. So I'm trying to like plot my strategy so I don't run out of stuff for the 11th. If you came out yesterday, I would have had stuff. And how is Mojo? He is majestic, RB. He is killing it. He's doing great. He's sleeping right now. It's a lot of work to watch the house while I'm at work all day. He's a very tired guy. He's good. He's liking that it's cooler out because we go for bigger walks now. So I won't catch fire in the sun. When we were on vacation, he's so used to just being the two of us. And then so when it's lots of people and lots of chaos and outside all the time and not really much downtime, he doesn't sleep much. He's used to like 14-hour naps during the day. And so when he came back, I think he's still playing catch up. He's been doing a lot of sleeping. Mojoistic. Exactly. That's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant. I read it incorrectly. You guys are so funny. All right, what do we got here? Besides motion sickness. What is happening? We totally missed just a whole line of trim here. Go back to the other layer. That's why I really wanted to have the all the lines on one layer, because that little trimming would be a lot easier than erasing and then or finding the layer that that's on and interacting with. I didn't want to play around with that, because even though like I know this is being drawn at a much bigger scale than it's being printed at, the little like end like nubs and stuff probably wouldn't show up, but I would know they're there and I don't want them there. Oh my goodness gracious, Jen is here. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're making fabulous Halloween tea party coloring pages. Welcome. Jen's on Facebook. I hope everything's going well. If you are lurking and you are from the Southern Ontario area, go to the Barn Teak. Go check it out. It is fabulous. Go check it out. I'll send you the link if you ask me some questions. The stuff is amazing. This is where my stuff is in the shop, and we have lots of fabulous artisans have joined me and many other fabulous artisans this season, so definitely tune in for sure. I was just talking to Jen about all of the fabulous plans I have for the fall and how like Halloween markets, and in relation what I'm going to be bringing to the booths as well. It's going to be a crazy time. Because it's my favorite time of year. I think like fall and winter are my jam. Like Christmas is just my favorite time, and fall just becomes my weather for sure. So I think I get super inspired around these times. And for some reason lately, really Halloween. Really. I love it. Jen says, this is a lot of detail. Wow. Yeah, so I was just explaining, actually, you came in at a perfect time, that I'm drawing this really big at like 11 by 14, I think I did it. Yeah, 14 by 11. So that I can get all of that detail in there. And then when I print it at an 8.5 by 11 size, then all that detail is going to be nice and crisp, which should be great. Very stoked. Actually, I do that with most of my pieces. Tarot cards, everything, I kind of create them at a bigger scale so I can get details in without them being too minimal. And then I can get all those details in there. And because these are vector brushes, so when I zoom in, they don't pixelate, I have a lot more freedom to print at different sizes. So I could technically print this as a mural if I wanted to. If anybody wants a Halloween tea party mural, I am your girl. So Alessandra, where is your market on October 1st? Are you like at the library again? Oh, Google. We'll just try that line again. Let's just start that one over, shall we? Go. All right. Woohoo! One down. See how that like little bit of line kind of like pops it out just that little bit more. So I think really like each character is going to get this, and then each like I think the table could really lend to this so that the characters don't blend into the background too much. So let's do our mouse. We gave the mouse a cookie. This is what happened. So I don't know how widespread these books are. Like, I don't know if they're just a Canadian thing or not. I don't know if those in the States know these books. I don't know where their origin is. But there's a book called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And then there's like spin-offs. So like if you give a moose a muffin. And there's a couple others. But I can't, sorry. There's a couple others that like I can't remember what the titles are, but there's like 3 or 4 of them anyway. And Penny started them. So so they are in the States too, which is great. I wasn't sure with the moose and a muffin if that was still a thing, if it was a Canadian thing or not. But they're like children's books, and it's all about like kind of if you give them a cookie, then this, and kind of like the escalation of all the consequences of giving this mouse a cookie. So when 2 of my friends had their first babies around the same time as in COVID times, and I gave them both these sets of these books, and I was like, see, these will be perfect. And they're like paper books. They're not really meant for like babies to like, they're not going to play with them. But I was like, when they grow up, like they'll read them and we'll see. But the kids both sets of kids got like obsessed with them to the point where the parents were like, I can't read the cookie book anymore. I can't do it. They were just like, it's just every day. It's the only one they want. And I was like, I'm not really sorry. They're actually pretty hilarious. So it became really popular. So when I was drawing this, I'm like, we have to have a mouse who's eating a cookie. We got to. They're so good. Oh, Jen's daughter's joined too. Yay! And she said she loves those books. See, they're so popular. So popular. The kids would like just choose them every night. Hello, Jen and Jen's family. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So it's just kind of so funny that separately both sets of kids were just kind of like obsessed with them. So for those of you who are newer to the stream, we're in Fresco right now, and it's from Adobe, and it's actually free. I think there's a few features that aren't, that are kind of like, I think some brushes and some brush features and stuff come with the paid one, but everything that you see me doing, I believe is part of the free version. And it's a really great software to kind of get drawing. So it's not as complex or as dense to learn as Photoshop is. And so you have lots of drawing tools. You have all the vector tools, which is what I'm drawing with now. Those are the ones that they give you that freedom of sizing without it pixelating and getting kind of blurry and hard to see. Excuse me. And then you also have like the live brushes, so it can make it look like watercolor or pencil crayons or anything like that. So very cool tool. You can check out some of my other streams as well that have some of the other details, like all my tarot cards, all of my gnomes, at least the final part of the gnomes are done in fresco after I'm done the watercolor or marker or whichever medium I chose. I always wrap them up in fresco to clean them up. So it's a great software. I really enjoy it. Chores, then drawing. That's good. Doing laundry, then I'm going to draw. Okay, that's really awesome to be getting the chores out of the way. I know I did the same thing today so that I could just sit and draw guilt-free. Incredible artist. Oh, thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. It's my favorite thing to do. And actually finding this software was actually a game changer for me because digital art was never really a strong point for me. And then I discovered this in the pandemic and hit the ground running. And now I'm in the barn teak. It's a fun time. The past few years have been really fun in the studio. I'm glad I'm back at it. I missed it when I was focusing on work things. Whoops. Oh no, I'm losing it. There we go. All right, thanks RB. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll catch you on the next one, man. All right, let's hit save, shall we? Oh my gosh. And it's so fun doing these kinds of things. Like I had the inspiration piece of the Halloween tea party, but like coming up with these little characters like the mouse and this little buggy spider weren't in it before. So just like what could make this scene even more fun? Because I always like to go through, when I'm going through like picture books or like a coloring page like this or whatever, I like to kind of discover things as I go. So even like a puzzle or something, when you're putting a puzzle together and it has lots of different little secret things that you find when you're kind of working piece by piece. So that's why I always try and put things like that in my illustrations. So that's I can give that to other people when they're experiencing it. And this also breaks me out of some of my comfort zone as well. As you'll notice with a lot of my pieces, I don't have backgrounds or environments, mostly because they intimidate me. And so doing pieces like this, oh, we have another line that's crossed. Doing pieces like this help me break out of that comfort zone there. Trim, which is great. Pew, pew, pew. Let's make sure we're on the right layer. We don't want to be drawing over the lines we already drew. Layers are free. So funny. Oh my gosh, the silliness. I can't. Okay. Oh, see, that's nice. I like that. I always forget that you can do like the full view and get some of that clutter out of the way. It's nice. And this is actually perfect because when you have the Apple Pencil, if you double tap, it'll switch back and forth between the pencil and the brush, whatever you're using, and the eraser. So you can just double tap so you don't have to have that palette all the time. I'm not doing any lassos here, so I don't need that extra layer. let's get these all the heck out of the way so we can just see the fun art business. See, it's these little nubbies that drive me crazy. Even though I know no one's going to notice them, I'm going to notice them. I'm going to know they're there. Oh, see? I had to be on the right layer, see, because you can't clean it up as nicely or almost at all if you're on the wrong layer. I'm going to accidentally erase everything. Okay, let's try that again. So when I do this, then I can erase without it impacting the main line art. So if I really goof up this hierarchy lines or I find out I don't like them or whatever, all I have to do is erase that layer or delete that layer without it impacting my lines. The problem here with this is that my undo is gone. So I'll keep this view for now. I do mess up and need the undo quite a bit. I was actually drawing, I know we've talked about this before, I was actually drawing in my sketchbook for some of the gnome coloring book pages, and I tried the undo. I tried to swipe to the undo or zoom in. I get too used to being able to get real nice and close. Oh man, when I'm drawing with my pencil, I'm like, where's the undo? I want the undo. Sillies. I get so stuck. Oh my gosh, 7:45. How the heck did that happen? I think we can. So a lot of the reasoning behind kind of the line art that I do comes from my technical illustration background. It comes from having those, there's lots of different rules when it comes to doing kind of blueprint illustrations and the hierarchy of the lines there, like having the main lines. Whoa, what just happened? The main line's all one solid line, and then not necessarily a tapered line like I just drew for kind of places where you can kind of go in behind. Usually that's another line weight, and then the main hierarchy kind of like bounding box around everything. So this isn't quite like, this isn't really technically how like a blueprint, lines work, but it's just kind of that kind of training and has inspired some of this, because I found a lot about my style in the pandemic, actually, because I would get frustrated with anything I try and draw because it didn't feel quite finished. And then I don't know exactly what piece I was drawing with my markers and stuff, and I just drew a big fat black line around everything, kind of making it like a tattoo or a sticker, really kind of binding the art into one little location. And then I was like, there it is. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So it's like, I already have this training. Let's put it to use. Come on, switch the pedal. So that's where a lot of this comes from. So you'll see lots of bigger, bold stroke lines and things, but helps me feel like I'm wrapping up a piece, or it's kind of like a little bit more complete than it would be otherwise. So that's where that comes from. Oh no, switch the thing. There we go. I'm actually really excited to color this myself, which makes me a little comforted that I might be on the right track with something. Yes, we'll go all the way around the pumpkin. And as far as deciding on what needs the hierarchy lines, I think it's just kind of chunks that I feel on the single line, like on the single line weight, are kind of fading into the background. So this gives them a bit of their due as well, without going too crazy, because if we outlined everything, then we'd be back to square one with everything kind of looking the same. Which is fine. It's not the entire goal here. And like this is almost like as kind of relaxing as coloring itself, because I know what I'm doing. Like I know where these lines go. The main illustration part is done. So I know that this will help me with the next steps and what needs to be colored and what needs more detail and everything. But I can't make that decision until this part's done. So I can just enjoy this part. Hope it's not too boring to watch. I am excited to kind of sit and color a little bit. My sister was sending me some videos this weekend, and I didn't catch the name of the artist doing it. I have all the videos saved, but they're coloring pages like Disney characters in these videos. I'm sure they branched out into other brands, etc. But they're coloring Disney characters, but like mashups. So like Jasmine but dressed up as Jessie from Toy Story 2. And then what was the first one she sent me? Oh, it's a bunch of different ones. So it was like Belle, but dressed up with like the colors of like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. And then like the last one, which like freaking just set me off with so many ideas, was Scar, but colored like the Cheshire Cat. I was like, where are my markers? Let's go. Such a fun idea. So like, because that's why I don't generally want to, some of my art, like some of my coloring pages, some of the gnomes, some of the coloring pages in my more recent coloring book, I have painted fully colored versions of them, but I don't want to kind of guide people in how it should, air quotes, be done. I want people to color them themselves because I want to see what they see. It's my favorite thing. I want everybody to kind of color their own way. Like most of you have seen my style. Whoops. Palette shifted there. With like it being that kind of paper pattern with the writing and the black and the browns and the reds and things. So a lot of the pieces that are in my more recent coloring book, I painted it in that style or using that palette. And so when people color it with like rainbow beautiful colors and everything, I'm always just like love seeing that different interpretation of it. It's so fun. So it's like we're collaborating when you guys color with me. It's so fun. Oh no, I did it again. How long have I been doing that for? you're on the wrong layer, I can't clean things up as nicely. Okay, phew. Luckily not for too long. Oh, and I goofed it. Okay, so we're going to clean up this line. That's when I cleaned this up. Oops. Trim. Now go back to the other layer. Whew. That would have been a mess. All right. So speaking of collaboration, I know I mentioned it earlier in the stream. We're kind of like winding down to the end of this here. Those of you who've been following the stream, and if you haven't, please go back through the history. All of my stuff is on YouTube, as well as relatively recently Facebook. I think they only last for 30 days now or 60 days now on Facebook. But YouTube is forever, I'm hoping. Those are going to run out of video space. We did all of the... Oh dear. Why is my thing freaking out? Let's save this before it freaks out. So we did the super collaboration, all the face cards. A lot of the people who are in the Twitch chat right now joined us, which is super fun. And my co-organizer, Mr. DTM, is going to be putting together a coloring book for us with all of the pages. I'm not sure what he has a thought process and an idea for it. I know he's done this before. His more recent coloring book, it's through Amazon, I believe. And he's going to put in each of our cards, and he's also going to put in the descriptions that you all provided, which I appreciate. And we're going to have it ready in time for Christmas, guys. That's the plan. We want everybody to be able to purchase these super awesome collaborative coloring books for the holidays. So definitely keep an eye out on my socials. Dan has been posting his cards, and I think in a few weeks I tag in and we'll be posting my cards. I think he has maybe 3 weeks left or so. I have it all in my super calendar. So it will be available for ordering in well enough in time for the holidays. That's right, the super collaboration. Yeah. Dan's jumped over to Facebook. He's everywhere. Yeah, so the super collaboration, so we're going to have a coloring book. Everybody's going to be represented. It's a super collaboration. This makes me want to make more face cards, to be honest. She said halfway through her tarot deck. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So keep an eye out, guys, because we're going to be having that ready to order, and Dan's going to do it on some of his streams as well. I missed your stream today, Dan. People booked morning meetings. Lame. But yeah, so everybody get ready. It's going to be an artsy Christmas. Let's go. Okay, what am I doing? Where is this? Okay, we're still on track here. Sometimes it gets still a little too relaxing, and I just kind of like throw hierarchy lines just willy-nilly. And it's like I didn't want any of those lines there. What the heck are you doing, woman? It's too chill, man. Okay, what do we got? So making sure. Just making sure we're not poised for a meltdown. There's people in the hall. Check this out. So you can see what I mean about those like little lines. It doesn't do too much. Like if I turn this layer off, it just kind of gives them that little punch so that these little elements can kind of pop out a bit. I'm not outlining everything. I'm not outlining every little element, but just little groupings just to make sure that the right parts of the piece, or what I feel are the right parts, let's say, are getting their kind of due. Everybody's kind of getting the right focus. Like oh my gosh, I missed a whole pile of things here. Like with the, what's happening? Like, for example, for the super collaboration, when I did the pirates with her skeleton parrot, which I'm obsessed with, and I'm going to be drawing more of because I can't. I'm obsessed with how it came out. I don't know where that idea came from, but whatever spirits gave me that idea, thank you. There was a lot of lines on that page. A lot of lines on that illustration. And so I really wanted to make sure that doing that, these hierarchy lines kind of helped feed the story a little bit better. Make it a little clearer what's happening. What was her hair? What was a tentacle? What was the parrot? What was an eye patch? Just helping the lines along a little bit. Because I want people to kind of be able to get a sense of what's going on when they look at it, and then find those tinier details later. Whoops. Oh, I didn't put the... Damn. Okay, hang on. There were some kind of like... Okay, let's just save this for a sec, because looking at these lines here, I'm going to put those on this chair over here, and I wanted to. So let's trim this, and this, and this. Vector brush trimming, favorite thing. There's also a couple things. Oops, the trim is still on. Are we done? That didn't trim anything, did it? It did. Okay, nuts. Okay. Just the brush now. Okay. Because there were some things I wanted to add in to give it a little bit more oomph. Like I find with a coloring page, you don't really need to have every single detail because you want the person coloring to use their imagination. But there were a few things that I also wanted, because this is a more complex, the goal for me is to have that extra level of detail. There was a few things I wanted to add in and I forgot to go back to them. So let me just put these lines in where they're supposed to go. Sorry. So I don't forget, because that's something I will miss. Okay, we'll save. So little things that I wanted to add, like, which I feel I can still add here, like a little bit of thickness to the dress. Okay. And like some of these pieces here, so something like, we don't need all of this information per se, but it's a bit of a, just a little bit of a kick. Ooh, Erin's doing a 2-hour stream, y'all. Oh man, I've gone over. Well, I'll stay on for a little bit, because I'm on a groove. I probably won't be 2 hours. I've got other... Although I'm probably just going to turn off the stream and continue with this, so maybe I'll stick around for a bit. Oh dear. Happens by accident sometimes. 2.5. Gotcha. Oh dear. You can write a note to my boss for why I'm sleepy at work tomorrow. Like that fluffy, like that, those thicknesses I just gave here don't really make a pile of sense unless I do this, maybe. Oops. Amazing. So Alessandra says, yes, I got you. I'm actually a clinician, so I can do that actually. Everybody, get your doctor's notes from Alessandra. Let's go. And you're like an art therapist too, so it's like, must do art. Oh no. No. I'm actually one of like the for fun things I want to do. Not that everything in my studio is fun. I don't want anybody to think I'm not, but a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is like for a goal. So this is for a work event. Then there's other things that are for the markets in prep for Halloween and things like that. So it's not that they're not fun. They're just scheduled things. So in November and December, I plan on exploring some of these other projects that aren't for markets, that are just for me, that aren't for the tarot cards, that are just kind of an exploration. One of them is I want to make a artistic license, like a license card that actually gives me that kind of license scenario, because we always say we use that, which is so funny. Oh, just for me? Thank you so much. Everybody else get your own. Oh dear. I feel like everybody could probably make their case. You're hilarious. So yeah, I'm going to make myself an artistic license to be like, no, I have the license to do this thing. So it's been on my list for like a really long time. But yeah, well, I just have to kind of get the right idea, because people call me an art ninja at work as well. So I'm thinking the two ideas are going to collaborate at some point. Okay. So yeah, there's a few of those kinds of things, like adding, I know the pumpkin on the table, I think, has these guys. Just adding a little bit more depth, a little extra kick. Oops. Oops. Crazy. I missed the thing. Yeah, I had forgotten that there were some of these added, like I said, little tiny features that I wanted to just give it that extra boost a little bit. That's very wonky. Maybe I don't want this one. I'll do it like this. Oops. I love it. Yeah, see, like the one on the table, the pumpkin on the table. She said pointing where you guys can't see where I'm pointing. This guy has those 3D bits. And just kind of keeping in mind that it's a round object. So some of these things being on a weird side is okay. Did I do both sides on this one? How did the eyes work? Oh my gosh, I did. That's so unlike me. Past me thought it through. What? That doesn't sound right. It's a little weird working on some of these, so like little insight into studio business. When I'm working on some of these, I try and grab like a TV show or a book, like an audio book of some kind. to listen to while I work, if I'm not listening to music or something. And for a lot of this cute little tea party, I was watching Dateline, so there's a lot of weird imagery floating in my head as I visit these. Just trim the little ribbon. There we go. Oh, come on, you. Let's see if this will work. Oh, nuts. Okay, it won't work. Oh, nuts, it won't work. There we go. So the reason why that's not working is that this vector line isn't, the lines aren't really intersecting, even though they look over top of each other. There's probably just barely touching underneath the lines there. So it's, that's why they weren't trimming nicely. I'm sure there's more of these kinds of things that I wanted to add. But I think for right now we're probably good. And actually that probably seems like a pretty logical breaking point for today. So like I said, these are needing to be prepared for an October event at work. So I want to get these wrapped up nicely so they're ready to go. I've got some prints to send out next week, some for this event itself, some for the barn teak. You see Jen in the Facebook chat, some prints getting ready. So for those of you who are visiting in the coming 2 or 3 weeks, I have new product coming. So keep an eye out for that there. Keep an eye out for all the things. I have lots and lots and lots of fun things I'm going to be doing for Halloween. And then I'm going to be doing some really exciting things for Christmas too. So yeah, definitely hang out for that. But I think this seems like a logical breaking point for today. I do plan to be live streaming again next week. So we'll be back with something cool. We might do some gnome coloring if I haven't finished the coloring book by then, which I won't have. Or we'll do some tarot if I'm feeling extra guilty for leaving that project on its own for too long. But I think for now, I will let you all go. So thank you everybody who was here. I know RB was here, Antoine, Penny, Alessandra, Jen was here, Dan was here, Jen's family was here. So thank you so much, everybody. I do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. I have a lot of fun doing this, and I'm so excited to see where these go. So keep an eye on the socials. You're going to see these go up soon as they're ready. And on my Behance project as well. I'm trying to be better about keeping these projects up to date and getting them posted. As you see them on the Instas, you should be able to see them on Behance as well to kind of get the story behind the project. So yeah, so that's where that's at. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will catch you all next Monday. Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.